Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Hakbang Media. Welcome to Hakbang Media. My name is Jiro Sana, streaming live all the way from Davao City, and of course, joining with me is one of our gorgeous hosts who just celebrated her birthday. Belated happy birthday, Sheena. How are you?
Hi everyone. This is Sheena streaming all the way from Dubai in the Middle East. Good afternoon.
Yep. So it's just like it has been 2 weeks, right? We were just here hosting one of our COVID conversation over coffee, and right now we are so privileged and honored because we have one of the most important, I think, coach, perhaps maybe during this COVID-19 pandemic. Because you know what, a lot of people right now are so down, so emotional, facing a lot of stress due to nawalan sila ng trabaho or
Mm.
maybe na-stop yung work nila, they miss their friends, nasa work from home nga sila pero they're missing the friendship sa office, nami-miss nila yung bumangon, maligo, umalis ng bahay, sumakay ng jeep. So basically, we will be talking about more on the lockdown feels. Ano ba yung nararamdaman nyo? Ano ba yung na-experience nyo today? Ano ba yung mga problemang hindi nyo na-share at saka may mga resolution ba silang hinaharap ngayon or naghahanap pa ba sila ng resolutions? For you, Shane, ano ba ang isa sa mga lockdown feels mo dyan sa lugar mo?
Lockdown. For me, feeling ko somehow I think minsan I feel numb. I don't know. I feel like I'm not motivated to do anything. Like I would rather just stay in bed all day watching TV. I used to be so active. I liked working out and everything. So now I feel so not unmotivated.
Hmm. Pero paano mo pa rin, paano mo nilalagyan ng flavor para ma-motivate ka pa rin kahit nasa bahay ka lang?
Paano ko nilalagyan ng nako. In terms of motivating myself to get active, I think it's difficult for me. Pero in terms of punishing myself or feeling bad and guilty, I kind of, I guess, maybe, I don't know if I push it back deep or hold back those feelings, or I've come to accept na, we're in this situation right now. Um, there is well in terms of what we can do about it to get out of it, there's really nothing we can do, so I've just come to just accept it. And yeah, that's it. What about
Yeah,
you?
sa akin naman kapag feeling ko na kasi I work from home ako dito sa Davao. So may mga rest day din tayong sineselebrate. Pero may mga panahon na sa rest day mo parang dati kasi kapag rest day gumagala ako sa mall eh. Alam mo yun, pumunta ako ng coffee shop, visiting my friends, spending time with my family, with my friends, going outside. Pero ngayon, kapag nasa bahay ako, parang feeling ko I'm still working kahit rest day ko kasi I cannot go out.
True.
Maybe I can go out, right? Pero wala kang friend na may invite mo. Ang hirap kasi masyado na ikaw lang pupunta ng mall tapos wala kang gagawin doon. So I
True.
need to plan ahead those things na kung lalabas man ako, sisiguraduhin ko may kasama ako, may ka-meet up ako doon na friend na nag-aantay sa akin sa mall, kakain kami somewhere or everything. Pero aside from that, kapag wala talaga ako ma-invite na friend, one of the things na ginagawa ko is mag-order ako ng mga pagkain, ice cream, pizza, burgers
Ah,
and everything para maaliw yung sarili mo tsaka hindi ka emotionally down. Alam mo, dahil alam mo
uh,
stress na stress ka, kung i-stress out mo pa yung sarili mo, the more kang hindi ka magiging productive on that certain day. So kaya naman this talk today, Progress Life Coach RJ will sit down with us to talk about the mental health and how we can manage and navigate through the different emotions that we are going through during this time of COVID pandemic. So it has been like March, April, May, June, July, August, almost running 6 months, right? And
yes.
people are
Nag
still trying to cope up, doing stuff, turning their businesses to online platforms or everything. But right now, I guess Shane, I'll give you the floor to invite our guest to join us on board.
Yes, welcome Coach RJ. If you remember, he was with us last time with
Yeah.
NRCC. Hi Coach, so good to have you on
Yes,
board with us
hi. Good
today.
good afternoon. Yeah, I'm so
All right.
excited
So,
na
Coach,
to be exposed here.
Yeah.
We were so excited as well because I guess this is so timely. Alam mo yun, parang feeling namin talaga need namin yung ano mo, credibility mo when it comes to emotions, mental health, mental awareness during this COVID-19 pandemic. So with that,
Mm.
Coach, we would like you to, introduce yourself.
Yes, for those who are viewers, listeners who actually don't know who I am yet, my name is Coach RJ, and bakit coach yung tinatawag sa akin? I am a life coach, and when you say life coach, ang daming context yung life coach. I'm focusing more on brain health and stress management. So for years, I've been certified. I've been trained on how and on giving lectures and how to coach someone get out from this level up to a higher level. So I also collaborate with psychiatrists and psychologists because it's really wonderful if you collaborate with those people because they're professionals. They know what they're doing. Sometimes we're very emotional. It's not psychological. It can be hormonal imbalance, and the doctors can really help you with that. Personally, I've experienced depression, clinical depression, and anxiety attacks, panic attacks from 2010 to 2017. That's a very long time of being afraid of limiting yourself to become supposedly to become someone much better. And my first coaching client was not another person, it was myself. And everything that I'm going to share here is very very effective because first and foremost I applied it to myself. And then suddenly people started to approach me, and suddenly I got a call from like a company, the government agencies. Can you do a stress management? Can you do this? Can you do that? And now I'm I'm speaking to companies from schools to companies, and I'm it's a wonderful blessing that I'm sharing this information and knowledge to so many people right now, especially during the pandemic. People have been chatting with me, Coach, I'm feeling like this, paano gawin? I'm always angry all the time. I feel like I'm in a rut, mga ganon. And when I gave my experiences and what they can do, and suddenly na-shock sila kasi wow, ganun lang pala, and they're feeling better. And if there's someone here listening, I hope you take notes because everything you're gonna learn is very 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 helpful. And so basically that's my background. I've had 7 international certificates. I've traveled to the latest one was in Singapore, where we literally walked on fire. It's really burning hot coals, and you have to do it barefoot. And you know what? It seems impossible. There are people who got their feet burned, but they got through. And I got through. And I was looking back, and these Chinese, Japanese, Brazilian, American, and other nationalities who at the first day, it was 4 days. At the first day, it was like, okay, we don't know each other. And suddenly the last day, we're like best friends. And we're like 9,500. So yeah, I'm gonna just gonna give as much value as I can here online. That's the kind of person I am. Just want to help out. And please listen and take notes. So yun, konting background lang about myself. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. So feel na feel ko talaga, Shin, na a lot of people right now are currently watching. So if you guys know someone, may mga friends kayo may pinagdadaanan, matinding emosyon,
And
stress,
you're
or kahit ano man, exactly. Go ahead and feel free to watch the party and share it to your friends. Dahil meron tayong coach dito na alam ko talagang may ano na talaga, lisensyado, ano mo, ang credibility mo ay mataas kasi you get to work with a lot of people, and as what you said, a lot of companies are trying to contact you right now because not just them, the managers or the company owners perhaps, they wanted as well to let their employees to really motivated still, right? Because hindi naman sa sinasabi natin, oh, may trabaho nga ako sa bahay, but I'm emotionally well. Hindi natin alam yun. Kasi may pinagdadaanan din yung mga ibang tao dito. So,
Yes.
right? So,
And
she...
and I feel like sometimes you feel something and you think like, nah, maybe this is normal, but you don't know that these small feelings that you're feeling are getting bigger every day. Maybe this is the sign that you're going through maybe a depression or something. Coach, what are the signs
Exactly.
now if I'm because I've become clinically depressed? Is
Oh,
there
you
like
say,
a
yeah. Actually, I love the question. Right now, the term depression has been really magnified. But parang just people misconceive, okay, I'm just bored. And then you say it, okay, I'm depressed. Well, in fact, that's not the case. You're just bored.
okay?
That's what's happening mostly in during the pandemic. When you say clinical depression, it's when you wake up early in the morning. And di ba, notice when we all wake up early in the morning, parang restart yung utak natin, parang okay, it's gonna be a new day. But for people who are experiencing this clinical level, they actually start to cry. And parang there's nothing to look forward to for the rest of the day. And when they go to the bathroom, they can't seem to move. Parang their bed is made of quicksand.
Oh, okay.
It's hard for them to laugh. They cry even in the small things. For us, for the small things, I remember that years ago, you suddenly cry at night, you wake up in the morning, you can't sleep properly, you don't want to talk to people, you just want to stay inside the room. So there are many manifestations. Other people even have physical manifestations, like either they eat a lot and they get really fat, or they don't eat a lot and they get really thin. So andame. Yeah, that's why we really need the psychologists and psychiatrists, because spot on they can detect if this is clinical or not.
I see.
I see. One quick question for this, so that people would really understand what we are talking about here. Coach, what is really the main purpose of emotions?
Main
Yung sa
purpose
tao.
of, yeah,
Oh,
kasi minsan when we talk about emotions, parang, well, are emotions bad or are emotions good? Ganon yun, di ba?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, my answer would be too much of either way is gonna be bad. I mean, okay, laughing is a good emotion, but if you really laugh for the whole day, that's not gonna be good, di ba? You see that in the institutions, they just laugh without any reason. So that's just too much. Or it's mahirap naman. Knock on wood,
Don't I know, or if
someone's,
you don't,
yeah, parang knock on wood, someone's mother just died, and then mahirap naman tatawanan ng taong yun. So they need to cry. And on the other area, on the other side naman, if you're so angry, you see this in traffic. It's normal to be angry. Especially, what is anger telling us? That we have rules and values in life na natamaan. That's why we get angry. Either natamaan ng ibang tao, like my rules is you have to be honest, and you're lying, I get angry. Or if I myself lied, I get angry at myself. So anger is basically a rule in your life has been natapakan siya. And we see that it's normal. Pero when you see this in the traffic, and suddenly you hear the news na nag-traffic lang and he took out a gun and shot this stranger who he does not even know who this stranger is, that's too much. So we really need to find the sweet spot, the balance, because emotion is neutral. If I think people have seen the movie, you know, that little girl who has the emotions inside the head. I forgot the title of that.
no,
I don't,
What?
it's a
Is
Pixar
that
film.
Yeah, is it a cartoon movie or?
Yeah, it's an animated thing when the girl was
Yeah,
controlled by joy, sadness,
Yeah.
happiness.
Yeah, I forgot the title. That was so nice movie.
Yeah.
Let me-
So
Anybody knows what Coach is talking about, please put it in the comments, because I'd like to.
So basically, emotions, for me, emotion is really, we have emotions because it helps us become a better person. Without emotion, we don't become someone better.
Yeah, having said that, Coach, that emotions can be good or bad. Naalala ko tuloy yung when I was a kid, when I was young. I'm still young today. Naalala ko yung sinasabi nila
Yeah,
na, ala, sige ka nang happy kay kakaroon, pero awa niya maghilak na ka. Parang there's a reverse psychology. If you're sad today, you will be happy the next day. But if you're really happy today and high, maluya ka unya, malungkot ka mamaya. Is that really true?
There's actually a
Never
science there's actually a science
Yeah.
behind that. Every time, for example, every time we laugh, have you ever tried laughing so hard until to the point your jaw starts to hurt or your stomach starts to feel the pain?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Because when we're happy, we have happy hormones. And this does not last very long. So when that happy hormones runs out, it actually masks pain. So that's why when you laugh, muscles are rubbing off each other. So when that runs out, you will start to feel it. Kaya may happiness peak talaga, and then it suddenly drops, and then it drops because what was funny suddenly becomes corny, and the jaw hurts, the stomach hurts.
I see. Okay.
So now I know that there's really science behind it. Akala ko kasi parang haka-haka lang yung parang, sige, happy-happy ka karon para awaon niya. Mano lagi ka unya do. Parang alam mo yung mga bata, mano lagi ka unya do. Kanang bantay lang ka niya. Happy na ka karon pero unya. Maghilak lang din ka. So, good thing that I know that there's really a science of it. Because I guess, the kids nowadays, teenagers nowadays doesn't really know what's currently happening because, they were just there but doesn't really know what's the current updates, what's going on. So, Coach, since you've mentioned that you've talked to a lot of people, managing stress or managing emotions, to these individuals you're talking and you're dealing with, what are the things na naiisip mo na ginagawa nila on how they conquer this COVID-19 pandemic?
So what I noticed that people usually do when, because we have no choice. The only choice we have is to become active in where we are, like in our rooms or wherever place that you are quarantined in. So what I noticed was there's an increase, especially sa mga youth, there's an increase of mobile addiction.
Yeah, the screen time is really above the minimum.
Of the charts.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I'm
grabe
sure
talaga.
parents as well cannot control this because this is probably the only time that they'll have their time to themselves. So they allow their children to play, to be on the devices just so they can have some peace and quiet away from the, diba?
And that is the challenge ngayon, what I did was I noticed that I was getting stuck with that pattern. So para naisip mo, wait, this is too much, because what will happen when you're too much exposed in like online devices and games? For example, I tried to do a test on myself. It was crazy. So I downloaded this game, and suddenly it was okay at first, and suddenly people started cursing. It's weird if you know who you know your value, and suddenly this that you don't know if this person is like 17, 14, 12-year-old, and then sinasabing, "Tut, ina mo, ganito, ganito, ganito." Parang, wow, who the hell is this guy telling me this? And people started transforming as time went by. People started swearing more. And then they say that, wait, I thought this game was about teamwork. And then they start telling me that, oy, ang bobo mo. Parang and suddenly I understood that no wonder many people find it hard winning in these team games, because they don't motivate their teammates. I mean, hindi yung when someone died, I've never heard, I don't know how many games I've played, but I've never read that someone said, hey man, you're the only one alive, you can do it. What they say, ang bobo mo, ang hina mo pare, grabe, mamatay ka na sana. Parang, wow,
Yeah.
that's not a very good, that's not very healthy, especially in the mind. It slowly trains you to be more aggressive. So I had to delete the game.
Because everyone's
Yeah,
spending
actually-
a lot of time online now that they've become like they keyboard warriors, just being negative to everyone. Because when I look at like some YouTube videos and I just see people commenting negative things, and like it's gone crazy. It's like, diba? And I do find myself as well, like I've noticed myself that I check, for instance, Facebook. I'm always checking it. Even if I've already checked all the stories and there's nothing to check, I'm still like looking at it. It's like, put the
Yeah.
freaking phone down and do something.
That's the dopamine acting up.
Oh, really? But it's somewhat like an excuse na I need to kill that time. I just need to scan more. Plus,
No.
I need to put my phone down because I'm done with it. And then, oh, I forgot something. And then you spend time again on your phone, right? So I guess we don't really have any hold to those teenagers, to those youth who are really playing games, using their phones. The screen time of it, I joined a couple of webinars here in Davao City, and then the screen time spent of these children are higher than those, than comparing to spending their time in their families and doing household chores and everything. So I guess emotions right now is, I think, ano na siya, I think starting pandemic up until the current situation, parang bumababa yung emotion something ng mga tao kasi nga they're not doing anything, they're not busy, right? So I think since school is up, emotions are already mixed kasi may mga mix na eh. You spend time with your family, with your classmate, with your teacher. So parang I guess the emotions are there. Pero the question here is, alam mo, gusto ko talaga itanong to. The time na meron tayong ganitong pag-uusapan, gusto ko talaga itanong to sa'yo talaga.
Ay,
There are
tanong mo.
times, coach, ano bang nararamdaman ko? There are times kasi, coach, na minsan, kasi kapag nanonood ako ng movie before, kapag yung mga movie na dapat, may mga friends kang umiiyak sa movie dahil emotional,
Mhm.
pero ako dati hindi ako umiiyak, parang I'm not moved by that movie. Alam mo yun? Pero I know the story, pero hindi ko talaga kayang umiyak. Pero lately, yung pandemic, kapag nanonood ako ng mga movie, kapag may mga touch, mga moments na doon, naiiyak ako. Kasi sabi ko, oh, it's like this. Yung parang isang emotional lang, parang bakit ako na-move? Hindi naman ako ganito dati. Plus there are times as well na, na chinachat ko yung best friend ko. Sabi ko, you know what, best? Parang na-miss ko ng umiyak ulit. Alam mo yun? Bakit may mga ganong bagay ako nararamdaman? Is it normal? Kasi to tell you honestly, to give you a heads up, coach, I'm a positive person. Wala talaga ako mga rant moment or negative vibes sa Facebook ko. Like, all of my friends are telling me na wala talaga sila nakikitang ganyan. Kasi na nakikita nila sa akin, puro negative lang. So, bakit ko naiisip na nami-miss ko minsan umiyak? I know that, crying sometimes is good for our health daw. Pero bakit ko kaya nafe-feel yun? What do you think?
Well, I love the energy. I love that you're positive in your posting. You're doing a lot of help to the people who are your friends in Facebook, especially influencer ka. So it's very important. To answer the question, there are ways that people deal with emotions. And it starts way back when we were kids. So it might be that what you're feeling now, it's because something happened way back in the past and you learned something from that. And before I continue, what are the ways that during those times we handle and deal with emotions? There are 4 ways. The first one is avoidance. When people get hurt for the first time, and what they learn from their parents is during conflict, they start to avoid something. They will indefinitely start to avoid kasi yan yung example na nakikita nila sa parents nila. Possible, okay? Hindi to yung pero it's a possibility. So, avoidance. And as they grow old, what happens? Since they're dealing with this negative emotion is to avoid it, you see people na, okay, I'm not gonna enter into a relationship because I don't want to feel the sense of loss in myself. I don't want to feel that pain just like I did in the past. So I will avoid it. So other people don't want to apply sa ibang trabaho kasi they avoid rejection. So parang if avoidance yung way that they were trained to deal with the emotion in the past, they would try to avoid it. But evidently, you can never avoid these emotions. What I'm saying is you will still meet the emotion that you're avoiding on the road you choose to avoid it. So one way or another, whatever road you choose, you will still meet that emotion because it's a part of life. And if you keep on meeting that emotion over and over again, it means that you're not learning something from that emotion. So what is the experience telling you? What should you learn for you to become a better person? For you to no longer avoid situations like this? For you to become strong enough to hit it face to face? So that's one way that people deal with emotion. The second way that people deal with emotion is they deny the emotion. Parang, wala yan. So we have friends who cry because of relationships. And anong sinasabi? Okay lang, kaya ko to. Wala na, hindi yung sakit. Tapos, so it's basically loading the gun. So you load, and what's the last thing you should do if the gun is full? You fire. Or if there's a balloon, you pump air inside until what happens? The balloon explodes. And that's what going back to the example I said earlier about the traffic thing, that's what happened. Stacking yung tawag namin dyan minsan. So, okay, negative emotion, okay, wala yan. The next day, it happens again, you deny it, wala yan. Day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, after a year, that's gonna be so big, it's very hard to just brush it off. One way or another, you're just gonna pop. One way or another, you're just gonna give in. Because you need to let out all of those pent up stack of emotions that we are usually feeling. Ever experience being in a table and then there's an ant langgam or alimigas in Bisaya, in the one ant in the table, and for some of us, parang we just brush it off. Okay, wala yan. It's just one ant. Suddenly there's two ants, and then wala yan. Three. What would happen if there are 50 ants? Then you start to panic. Then you start to get angry. Ang dami. You start to hit the ants. Then you start to be afraid. You scream. You get out because it's hard to handle all those ants. So how do we spell ants? A-N-T. Automatic negative thoughts or automatic negative things. Things start to stack up, and suddenly the brain sees the pattern, mas dali makita, and then boom, it explodes. So people use denial, but it's not really gonna help, just like avoidance. The third thing is people like to compete. May kilala ba kayo mga friends na parang ganito? They start to open up, you know what, my life is so bad, and suddenly he says this, oh, you think your life is bad? My life is worse. I mean, my mom is like this. My dad used to beat me up. And you think you have the worst life? I have the worst life. They wear this negative experience like it was a badge of honor. Now, I got a worst thing in life. But do you think it's really okay that you have the worst thing in life? You'll never feel that fulfillment. Kaya that's the third thing. It's very dangerous to compete on what is bad. Many Filipinos do this. Hindi nagpapatalo.
Yeah.
Marami talagang ganun. So what is the best way for us to deal with it?
Yes.
The fourth way. The fourth way is 3 steps. You accept, you learn, and you apply. So you accept that, okay, that thing happened. The past is the past. Next is, what can you learn from that thing? What meaning can you put in that experience for you to become a better person? And then you apply that experience. A while back when I experienced my first heartache, Char, and I was crying, I was I think 17 years old.
Like,
I was 17 years old, 18 years old, and I was in my cousin's car, and there were 2 cousins there, the driver and the other one. The other one was busy comforting me. His, what we hear from our friends. Okay, layan pre, you're gonna be okay. You know what? There are plenty of fish in the sea, and then I say, but we're not fishes. And suddenly, the driver. And we didn't even know that the driver was drunk. My cousin who was driving was drunk, slightly drunk. And suddenly he said, you know what? I only have one piece of advice for you, bro. And this is it. Listen very well. And this is coming from drunk guy. He said, love and get hurt and learn. Learn and love again. And then, but you know what? He's right.
sometimes you become wise. Sometimes.
Yeah. So tama siya,
Yeah, that makes sense. But so would you say it's okay to feel what you feel in the moment, to like accept these feelings, or rather than, like you said, to push it aside, hide it, keep it inside?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great thing. If you know that, kasi if you feel miserable because you know that, okay, oh, this is my pattern, I'm avoiding, I'm denying, and I'm competing. So now that you know, okay, basically the answer is changing the questions inside the head.
Mhm.
So it's like when a bad thing happens, wait, this has been happening in my life for like 5 times. What is life telling me? What am I supposed to learn? And then when you have this eureka moment, wow, okay, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to try this out. So keep on trying. Strategies is very important sa buhay natin. So remember, sometimes it takes us like 5 broken hearts to find the perfect one. And the perfect one isn't perfect. The perfect one becomes the perfect one because you became the perfect one through the experiences from the past, because you learn.
Mhm.
So but yeah.
One.
Having said that, Coach RJ, we know that emotions are coming from your surroundings, your feelings, and then the influence of others too. So, do you believe that about this thing? Kasi ito talaga ito yung pinaka tumatak sa isip ko when I had my heartache before. That thinkers are really doers. Do you believe that thinkers are doers of
What do you mean
hurting people? Thinkers are doers. So for those people who are thinking that you're not truthful to me, you're doing a third party. you're thinking that someone is doing it, but the main thought is you're the one who's doing it. So you're the thinkers are doers. So what can you say about that? Does it help emotionally to that kind of person, and how does it influence to others?
But people like those tend to be so toxic. Parang parang you're asking advice from a person and that person tell you not to cheat and knowing that this person really is a cheater.
Yeah,
Parang
that's
ganun,
my
no?
point.
But if you have a person who's like that, and if you know, uh, I'm not telling, I never tell people you detach from your circle of friends. I always tell them you expand your circle of friends.
Okay.
Because the more you expand your circle of friends, you will meet people who are great quality of friends. And when you are absorbed by those people who are great quality of friends, your people become the people who are always, if you're surrounded by amazing people, you're gonna become amazing. You have no choice. Parang
Mhm.
ma-OP ka eh. Ayaw talaga nating ma-OP. So if you become that amazing and a beacon of hope, and you did not detach from the other person, you can
Mhm.
actually infect that person.
Influence. Oh, I see.
Exactly. So you can influence that person, and suddenly you became the ray of hope for people
Mhm.
like those. That's why I always tell them, don't detach from your circle of friends. You expand. You look for mentors. You look for friends who are in good quality. And dami pa. We're still young, as Jerome said. No, we are all still young. Like even they say, I'm 40 years old, dude. My grandpa is like 80. we, we still have 40 years to expand our circle of friendship. Ang dami nating oras. So
Yeah,
yeah, we can
you know
actually
what?
influence
I
with
will
that.
put that as really a big point. No, na if you're experiencing something trouble with your friends, your colleague, or family, and if you think that you're not suited enough in this circle, instead of you detaching yourself and then be alone, why don't you really like look for a circle that would lift you up and
Mhm.
would motivate you enough, and then find those circles who are with the same wavelength of your thinking, and that way you will be lifting yourself, motivating yourself more rather than keeping yourself in a silent corner and then not doing anything. That would make you
Eh,
down, most especially during this pandemic, right? So, Coach,
This
ano
is
ba
what I
something
feel like. It's so unfortunate, especially during this time, because we are no longer with those people that we're used to getting our good energy from. It's I find it so hard because yes, my motivation usually came from hanging out with my friends that were so active and they love to do things, and then now it's like they're gone. And like we used in the beginning, we started by doing like a workout together online, but then again eventually later on everyone just like withered away, and then no more online workouts with my friends. you know
Yeah.
so I also feel like, is there such a thing? I don't know. We've been here since we've been doing this since March. Do you notice that um that you feel more drained going doing these online things? Is there such a thing as that? Because sometimes I feel like exhausted just chatting online sometimes. Maybe, or is it just me?
but we have something in our body called oxytocin. And it's one of the happy hormones. We have a few happy hormones. Oxytocin is actually the bonding hormone. And we feel this oxytocin at times when we actually physically see and touch other people. When you make a peer with someone, and but there are ways to trigger oxytocin. One way is pets. When you look at the pet straight in the eye, and the puppy dog eyes, or when they purr just like your cat's doing, oxytocin is also released in the body. Or even when we sing, that's why lumalabas, many people are starting to do online karaoke, uh, because
Sing.
it actually triggers oxytocin. But what we have to understand is that I always tell people na when students, younger generations, teens start selling me, so anong gagawin niyo? It gets boring to be online. And I said, are you living alone? And then they said, well, I have my mom and dad. And then, you know what, you should start talking to your mom and dad. Many people are alone. So
Yeah.
Mm.
have that opportunity. So tapos may iba na nag-chat, I'm alone, what should I do? It's great if you have a pet. It's very important if you have a pet. It's very
Yeah.
helpful. Mm.
There's so many
Or
stray animals now. Adopt one of them. They're gonna be very loving.
yeah, Yeah, exactly. Or
Ako nga napabili ako ng aso nung March kasi parang feeling ko aside from work and wala ako medyo hosting, parang I need to kasi ang nasa isip ko talaga when you have a pet and then you're down inside and you're not telling that to your family or friends.
You're
Only those pets knows that this person is down, right? Like they get that stress out of you. I don't know if it's true, but I feel so lightweighted if nandun ako. Na if nakausap ko yung aso ko.
Jerome, we can hear
yeah.
your dog barking. I think
Yeah, we have dog at the back. So I think the dog knows that I'm talking to him.
Yeah.
yeah, I think one of the best things I've done during this quarantine is adopt my two cats. They've given me so much joy and entertainment, you know. So you're right. I think, Coach, you're right.
Yeah, that's the oxytocin kicking in.
Yeah.
So
What else?
Yeah.
go ahead, coach.
But I was just about to say that what if I can't reach out to people, those inspiring, we call it VIPs, very inspiring people. And what if I can find my VIP? So I always tell them, you know what? It's COVID, on everything is happening online. You can literally create your own VIP. So you can create a Facebook page called VIPs. And people will suddenly you can post that and then you're gonna filter. My God, you have like 3,000 friends in Facebook, and I'm sure you're not speaking to all 3,000 people. Just speaking to 3 of them. Sometimes even one. So there must be someone out there from the 3,000 who is very inspiring. So create your own networks of friends. Pwede rin ganun.
Mhm.
Yes, and then if they don't have any idea on how to do that, Facebook now has rooms. So basically, they can just open the rooms and invite a lot of people coming in without accepting on the waiting room, so they can use that. Coach, one thing that I would like to hear from you is that what are the things that they need to do first if they feel so down during this COVID-19, and then what are the things that they might need to avoid in order for them na hindi talaga sila mas ma-down? Kasi parang feeling ko may mga tao dito na may mga friends ako na-observe sa Facebook na they were so really active before na may work sila and everything, and then suddenly nandito na yung COVID, parang nawala na sila sa timeline ko. I don't see them anymore posting something. So what are your thoughts or points na mabibigay sa kanila na if they feel something bad or feeling down, what are the things that they need to manage first? And maybe they're managing it, but they're managing it in a wrong way. Or maybe they think it is really good for them, but basically the result is mas na-down nila yung self nila because of doing such. So what are those, ano yung main ingredient on how to fully manage emotions during pandemic? What are your key points?
2 things they should remember is very simple, pero if they do it right, kasi this is very practical and it's very parang masasabi ng tao, okay, people kasi we look for very parang mga scientific results to very simple issues in life. I don't know why is that, but I also tell them, number 1, you have to avoid the bad, and after you avoid the bad, you have to do the good, because when people avoid the bad, there's a hole inside them which it will be replaced by what? Another bad thing. It's like, okay, I quit smoking, so you went to drinking. So you need to avoid the bad. And what are the bad things? One is negative exposure. I really emphasize that a lot. Negative exposure. And there's so many things that is negative right now. I mean, we are drowning in information to the point that people even share fake news. I mean, di ba, kung there's something negative and then they started to post, I want to tell them, dude, did you even read the article? Did you even know what's inside the article before you started sharing it? Before you started something that a chain reaction of negativity to other people. So you have to, again, it's all about stacking. If parang 1 ant is not bothering you, and what if 10 appears and 50? And if ants are bothering you, how much more if those are thoughts? How much more if those are negative words? If you notice, if you have a sister or a friend who just cursed just one time, you let it slide. But if you notice that person starts to curse like a lot of times, you start to get irritated. And here's the scary thing. If you don't get irritated, what happens? You actually join the person. You start swearing yourself. So, absorb mo yung negativity. So that's the point there. So you have to detach or tone down on the negative things. I appreciate those people who, I have friends who posted na, I need a media break. So guys, I won't be online for 3 days and I'll see you after 3 days. Because on that 3 days, that person was reading a book or planting something in the gardens or doing something with their pets or doing something with their families. And the worst thing I saw was they stopped their Facebook and they were very active in Instagram. So,
Correct.
it's the same thing. So,
Exactly. That's why
so tone down.
I've observed
Tone
as
down.
that's why as well I observed that why is it my friends are no longer active on Facebook? Like I could not see them. But the time I visited my Instagram, oh, they were there actively,
Yeah.
commenting.
I think Facebook has its own algorithm as well. I've noticed that I've
Yeah.
only been seeing the same people in my feed, and I'm like, wait, I have these other friends. What happened to them? And I think it's the algorithm of Facebook. So annoying sometimes.
It's a great thing when you're talking about algorithms, because if the Facebook algorithm is you're sharing things about anger, Facebook is gonna expose you to posts that are about anger. Yan yung algorithm. It's like the brain. We have an algorithm. If we are consistently looking at something negative, like, okay, I hate smoking, I don't want smoke. Even if you say you don't want smoke, guess what happens? You're gonna see more of people smoking.
I see.
Instead, you change the algorithm. How do we change that algorithm? You start exposing yourself to something that you want, because people are so focused on what they don't want. They forgot that what's important is what you want. Example, we go to the gym because of two things. People go to gym because I don't want to get sick. And yet, they're the ones who stop first because they got sick. They got tired. They're focusing on their pain, the muscle pains and everything. But when you look at people and you ask them, why do you go to the gym? And they answered, I go to the gym because I want to become much more healthier. They are actually the people who really push through. They are the people because they know what they want. They know what their goal is. And man, that's my mission. I'm going to go straight for that. So avoid the bad, do the good. Another is avoid doing nothing. Because if I ask you guys, if I challenge you, don't do anything for like a week, you're going to go crazy.
That
So you need to
doesn't
do
work for
something.
me.
I can do nothing, but then that nothing would include me going through Facebook. I guess and yeah. No.
Exactly. Like it's hard. We're not trees. Even trees need to do something. They need to grow. And the same with us. So if you do absolutely nothing, if you just lie down there, your brain is gonna start to play around, and then you know what? You're a loser. You should do this and this. And if you do nothing for like 4 months during the start of the quarantine, you're gonna look back because you're gonna see posts again in Facebook of people who said, "Wow, I mastered Photoshop," and you're gonna apply that to yourself because we're gonna mirror that. And then we're gonna say, man, if I started Photoshop during the quarantine, I'm a master in Photoshop right now. And you're gonna say, man, sayang yung panahon. I'm getting older, inutil ako. Those are the negative things that are gonna flood you. So you're gonna have to do something. You can do a lot of things. I actually started practicing little bits of magic tricks. And I bought this new background. This is my new office, my new room. Okay, I had to do something that I know that it's gonna be very beneficial for me after all of this ends. And that's very important. So avoid the bad, do the good.
Okay. Is there
That's
do you think there's a correlation to our emotions and eating correct, proper diet, or is there none?
Well, yes, there's a very big correlation for
The junk food, sometimes it feels good, but do you think that's helpful or,
There was a study about people who they let people eat junk food, and what happened was the next day they were more tired. And then the next day they let people eat like breakfast, lunch, dinner, vegetables, and a little bit of fruit. And they noticed that within 8 hours, they were happier compared to those who weren't eating vegetables at all. So there's a very big correlation. If people who are listening right now, look for the documentary on Netflix called Game Changers. Amazing documentary about eating vegetables. You're gonna learn a lot from that. Grabe, it's backed up by scientific evidence. People who just eat this, pag check ng plasma nila, ang daming parang fats. But people who eat vegetables, so clear, so wonderful. Imagine like we've been eating junk for like years. So But there's always hope. So yes, there's a very big correlation sa kinakain talaga natin sa emotion natin.
Yeah, I agree. Because ako din, hindi ko talaga naiiwasan umorder ng mga sweets if I'm just here. So,
Yeah.
that's why I gain weight.
Right? It's like if you're not doing anything, it's like suddenly you're feeling hungrier every time. It's like nothing to distract you. So you're like, okay, what can I have? And then if you're too lazy to cook, you're just gonna order McDonald's or some Jollibee, diba?
Or ice cream or stuff
Yeah,
like
ice
that.
cream, agree. A lot of ice cream. Coach, I have one quick question. Is it easy? Is it too easy or not easy to emotionally influence others to say, hey, wake up? Need not for you to stay on your room the whole day. Kasi alam ko, for me, it's so easy to influence positive thoughts by just, providing pictures, providing captions, and then people will read that. But emotionally, we cannot feel our friends anymore because they're social distancing, their place might be locked down. So how do we manage ourselves to influence others through our emotions? How do we reach out to them, and how do we ask them to say, hey, you can tap me anytime you have problems?
Most of my friends would one way is just to post that, you know what, if you need someone, I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
So the first people we can influence are our closest friends. Yun talaga sila yung pinakamadaling maano natin. Like, if I type right now in my Facebook, if anyone here is feeling depressed, you can chat me, free coaching. And masyak ako, ang daming mag-chat sa akin.
Hey, coach ka eh.
And well, because of siguro sa coach ko, and the exposure and the credibility, so it was easier. But I also did this before anything else. Like before the certificates, when I was still in college, I was starting to, I was my own lab rat. So parang I studied this technique, one technique. Wow, this is how you can change. You can eliminate fear. Imagine you can eliminate fear within 30 minutes. Who does that? Change fear of heights, 30 minutes, it's gone. So trauma, 30 minutes, it's gone. So parang wow, this is like a magic button. So parang I just said, you know what, if you have, I don't recommend people doing this. It's weird. But what I did was that I had this classmate, not very close with that person. I just said, you know what, you're so down. You have issues? I can help. Man, sounded so weird right now looking back. But I'm going to a total stranger.
A cheap commercial in like a a commercial ad for like
Exactly. You know what, na-remember ko tuloy, when you say you went ahead and, make yourself a lab rat, ako naman, hindi pa kasi uso yung term ng lab rat before. So, na-experiment ako sa self ko. Ayaw ko din kasing mabash. So, ang ginawa ko, instead of just like asking people na, or posting something, hi guys, if you need something regarding love, love motivations or love advices, you can tap me. I did not do that. So, what I did, I think that was last year. Checking people's stories, yung mga friends na nakaka-engage ko talaga, nakaka-chat ko. And then we have friends, right, sa Facebook na hindi naman na natin masyado nakaka-chat.
Yeah.
But I've seen a few of them who are lonely and sad. So ginawa ko, I chat them. Sabi ko, anong problema? Bakit heartbroken? And hindi kami magkakilala talaga, like personally. So ginawa ko, I asked them. And then this person called me right away on Messenger and then cried out loud. Tapos ang ginawa niya, why did you cry? Tell me everything. Tapos hinayaan ko muna siya magsalita. And then I found out, pala siya heartbroken. Tapos ang ginawa ko, binigay ko siya ng mga advices a bit, tips by tips. Sabi ko, dapat itong gawin mo, iwasan mo to, iwasan mo din mag-overthink because that doesn't help you. And then a couple of months, parang sabi niya sa akin, thank you. Yung parang asarap sa feeling na, you're thanking me. And then I'm not really, asking for something in return. All I want really is to spread positivity. If you're down, don't down yourself more. Know your worth every time, regardless of what happened. If you're up there, you know your worth. If you're in the middle, know your worth. If you're down, bring yourself up again and then know your worth. And then, disregard these people who are pulling you down. And then these people who are, thinking that you cannot do this. You're a dumb person. You're bobo or what. You cannot do this. You don't have place on earth to stay. you're just, a disgrace to our friendship or everything. So that's what I think. Meron akong apat na taong na natulungan in terms of that. That's why nga na-encourage ako minsan na magla-live ako always. Na-encourage ako mag-live always. Sorry, shit.
Pwede ka na mag-life coach.
Gusto ko din. Pero alam
You
ko
can do that.
mahirap to. Alam ko. Pero feeling ko talaga mahirap pagiging life coach in terms of experience and influence din. Kasi alam ko naman sa sarili ko kung ano yung network ko. Alam ko lang din kung hanggang saan ako pwede. And then, managing my own emotions, baka kasi ma-attach ako dun sa emotions nila, tapos hindi ko na ma-foresee yung other clients perhaps, parang doon na lang siguro ako sa kaya ko lang.
Yeah.
So I guess this portion we have medyo bitin to for me. Kasi I think a lot of people are watching right now, and then realizing na bitaw no pwede day ko dili ma-lonely, pwede day ko dili ma-down because I can tap my family. Alam mo yung parang feeling mo lonely ka pero your family is just there sitting but you're not talking to them. Why don't you use the time spending time with your family? Because sa buong araw, the past how many years you were with your friends, kung umuwi ka lang, staying with your family, having dinner with them, breakfast with them, lunch, pero hindi mo nabibigyan talaga ng time. So I guess this is the time na you need to, kailangan mo ilabas yung sino ka. If you have problem, you really need to vent out and talk to someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were
And
thinking?
After
if
what you said, go coach.
okay. Well, if we have another session soon in the near future, I'd be glad to kasi although these are just parang advices that I'm just giving, it will always boil down to, okay, coach, that's okay. Those are wonderful advice, but how the heck am I gonna do that? I can't even get myself up in the morning. What is the psychological? What are these techniques that you've been studying? Because there really are techniques that we can apply. And if we can do that in the future soon, I'd be glad to share one or two techniques that's really helpful. You can even do this in your house. Like if you just touch your ear, you're gonna feel happy, and it's not weird because it's it's called an short. Daliin ko lang to. It's called an anchor or a trigger, and we have visual, kinesthetic, auditory, olfactory trigger. It's basically this one. When you see this emotion or thought will be triggered. I'm gonna give you a very super simple example about a thought trigger or a corporate trigger. What comes up in your head when I say pap, love ko to?
Jollibee.
How about we find ways?
BDO.
Those are auditory triggers. You can also do the same with emotions. That's why there are times that when you see this person's face, you get so angry. And then when you see this person's face, you get so happy. Those are auditory. We can actually create those. And that's what I do with my training and seminar. I teach people how to do that para automatic. Oh, I feel sad when suddenly when they start to do this with their ear, parang, wait, I'm better. Because the emotions in the brain are releasing something that's making them feel better. So that's actually a technique. Sayang, we don't have the time, but maybe soon we can do that. So,
Yeah.
Segment needs to be there needs to be another one, a follow-up.
Yeah.
Coach,
Agree.
because Jerome, what you said, because I feel like sometimes, yes, we are here for our friends, we give them all our emotions, but how I feel like sometimes it takes away from me, or I feel like I feel drained, or is there a way that you can like sort of create a barrier or a way that you can still help but still at the same time protect yourself from these feelings?
that's a good question, because that's what most people think. Ever notice that people take psychology courses but they don't actually apply as a psychologist? Only very few, right? So
Yeah.
there are psychological ways to actually do that. If you notice people who are, when you go to a psychologist, or even in the movies, they don't actually look at the person face to face. They do sideways. Kasi there's something in our brain called a mirror neuron. We actually mimic what the other person, from the facial expressions to the breathing, even to the feeling, para at least yung feeling natin we empathize more. But the thing is, the more we empathize, they actually parang in the back of our head, we might be thinking na, oh my God, that's what I'm feeling. I'm going to be like this in the future. And that's why we feel so draining, because we're going to be, okay, I don't want to be like this. I need to stop and to back off. There are techniques for that. But one way is actually when you're listening to someone who is asking for help, I usually, even online, I do this. so that I'm just listening to that person. I look for patterns. I look for ways. Okay, these are the issues. These are the reasons. This is the what. I don't really sometimes, because sometimes people just want other people to listen. And
True.
diba? Parang more than advice, we're looking for people who really listens to us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's
agree.
why it's very okay to just do this. Because what the other person is feeling is that, wow, this woman, this guy is really listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first one of the basic steps when you're doing coaching. So actually, Jerome, pwede ka talagang mag-coach. Hanap ka lang ng ano, even Sheena, you can be a coach for felines.
Yeah,
Jerome
maybe I
can be
think
a coach.
yeah, soon. Alam mo, na-remember ko, you said that may mga things na auditory, yung parang if I see this, I feel happy. If I see this, I feel sad. It's really true and very helpful to my end. Kasi ang ginawa ko, yes, I have a lot of friends on Facebook whom I engage and, less engagement. So if I know that this someone is really ranting about something or, not really providing good positive vibes, yes, we're friends. But sorry, I really need to like let go of your post. Like I need to hide your post every time. Yes, we may be friends in circles, but I may not be seeing your post because I don't want to feel the vibe you're putting to my timeline. Yes, I mean, yes, we're friends. So I think that's really helpful because ang nakikita ko lang talaga sa timeline ko are those people na nag-spread ng positivity. We may be friends with someone or other else, but sorry, I cannot really like put reactions to your status or what. And that's kind of helpful because it's really your environment who's pushing you up or maybe pushing you down or triggering your guilt inside. So we have one question here from one of our viewers from Siranjiva Shiraji. What can you do if you get drained after listening to friends who are opening up about their problems? So, coach, this is your chance and your moment to answer this.
Okay, so what can you do if you get drained after listening to friends who are opening up about their problems? What I usually do with this is I just detach. This is where mindfulness comes in. What most people do kasi they get drained after listening because they integrate it towards themselves. And parang, grabe naman, ang ganito, ang toxic niya, ganito. What you have to stop and go back to yourself because the most important thing when doing coaching after that is you. And if you fill yourself up with something negative, the only thing you can help other people coach with is something negative. And they can feel that. So what I usually do is that when I get home, I either you can take a shower. I take a shower after that. Hindi because but for me to parang refreshing talaga siya. Parang okay, this is my me time. You need to find that me time, that sweet spot for yourself. Now, okay, this is for me. When you do something, when you eat, you have to feel everything. Feel the weight of your butt on the chair. Feel the taste of the food. Don't just and then you're still thinking about that person's problems. Remember, that's his problems. That's not yours. So you have to, you just continue what you're doing, be mindful, and then the problems tomorrow, who's going to face them? Well, the future you. What's important is the present you. That's why people are always pushing a thing about mindfulness. Ganon ka-importante talaga yung mindfulness activities natin. It's very helpful to detach from the world and go back to the most important thing, which is what? Which is who? Yourself. So this is actually a great question. So that's one thing. Another thing Jerome talked about earlier, you can actually unfollow those people. Diba? Avoid the bad and do the good. You avoided the bad by unfollowing, and then you follow those people who are posting great things.
Yeah, or hide them in your timeline. Pwede naman yun. Unfollow. Baka naman mamaya.
Agree.
Yeah. Hindi mo naman sabihin sa kanila na, "Uy, I unfollowed you, ha?" You're not gonna tell that person, "Hey, I follow you because you're so negative." Don't tell that.
And then you know what, Coach and Sheen, what I did an experiment as well. So I have this best friend of mine sa Facebook. Sabi ko, I will try to unfollow you here on Facebook, okay? And then a couple of minutes, I will try to follow you. Let me know if you get the notification, something that, hey, Jerome followed you back again. And then my friend told me, I did not receive any notification. That's a good thing. So I'll start unfollowing those people whom I don't want to engage with. So that's one good thing. And just to add, thoughts, coach na kayo mag-add kong thoughts, ani saya,
It's
I say
okay.
that. What you can do to get drained after listening to friends who are opening up about their problems. Yes, correct, coach. It's gonna be detachment. It's not your problem, it's their problem. Yes, you put yourself there because you wanted to listen and then you wanted to help them vent out. But you have it's your, parang cargo mo yun na kailangan mo siyang tulungan, but don't dwell it too much, Let them realize and then just give your feedback na ano yung feeling mong makakatulong sa kanila, and it's really up to them kung gagawin nila yun or hindi. No matter how you give these advices, but if there's really no actions being, implemented to yourself, wala ring mangyayari. So it's really basically on self-managing and self-awareness of how do you put these kind of emotions. If you really think that you need to be more positive every day, you can do that. Kasi nakaya ko nga for almost 4 years now. I did not post any rant on Facebook. Sabi pa nga ng mga workmate ko, sabi na, Jerome, dili gud pwede masad, Jerome, dili gud pwede masad, dili na gud pwede ana. If I feel those things, I would rather, keep it myself and then don't tell people na, hey guys, I'm sad today. I'm not asking sympathy to others because, there are people right now who are really doing this. Guys, unsay gwapo guys, magpaalot ko kanang aning or magpa-curly ko. People are asking these things to people, sa friends nila sa Facebook. And then if they get these answers, they tend to follow, oh sige, I need to cut my hair short kasi yun yung madaming vote. Pero does it really makes you happy? Yang gusto mo lang naman talaga curly pero ginawa mong cut, right? So it's really up to you on how you put or position yourself. If you follow this path or you follow this, or you try to be more mediocre. And I think this really deserve another COVID conversation over COVID.
We're way past our time, Yes.
Kasi sorry talaga.
Yes.
No, it's okay.
I think Siran, I don't know if you've missed the earlier portion, but Coach also said that you should surround yourself with other people who are happy and who can give you the positive emotions. So I guess after speaking to someone who drains your emotions, go talk to someone who can lift you up as well. Surround yourself with those kind of people as well, diba?
Watch funny movies. That can also help.
That's really helpful. Exactly, agree to that. And then watching YouTube videos who are really funny, yung natatawa ka lang. So coach, I know na a lot of people here are not commenting, but they realize something, that there's really something they can do to manage their emotions, and they really wanted, I guess, to be with you, and then you will be their coach regarding this. So please plug your pages. How can people contact you, and then how they can reach you throughout? Baka kasi mga after 2 weeks pa tayo magkakaroon ng other set of these. So at least from these live we have, a lot of people will get to know your network and they can really approach you. Maybe marami pang kumpanyang magko-contact sa'yo after this. So I guess you're a big help to them, and because you're a positive coach, and I think the one you're teaching are not just really the one in the book, but through experiences and through experiment, they may be able to really get something from your talks. So go ahead.
Yeah, for people who last pala, ito pinaka-last na talaga to before I say that is, if your friend really needs, if you notice that it's really a hard-hitting clinical things na, please don't hesitate. Go for a professional, go for a psychologist, go for a psychiatrist. Okay, so that's really gonna help them a lot, I tell you. And if you want to reach me, you can find me on Facebook. Just search for Coach RJ. Starring yung mukha ko, mukha ko dyan. And also, I post things in my YouTube channel. And again, Coach RJ, you can still see my face there. I do vlogs from time to time. Right now, nag-stop ako because of this office. Now, masyak kayo because something big is coming. I'm buying new technical stuff to give a better output, to give more value towards you. So again, search mo lang Facebook or YouTube, Coach RJ, and soon I'm gonna have a Instagram account where I'm gonna post mga stuff there also. I'm gonna hit all platforms because you know what? People are posting negative things in all platforms. I'm gonna help post positive things just like Jerome in all platforms also. So, search lang Coach RJ. So, you can't miss that.
Wow. Thank you so much, Coach, for,
Yeah.
saying yes for this. I know we are really, nasa ano tayo, parang ilang days ka lang in-invite tapos you said yes to this. Thank you so much. And I hope a lot of viewers right now that are watching are,
Learn
may
something.
na-take na talaga sila, learn something from this and start something later tonight that would really help you uplift yourself, your worth as a person. And Coach, thank you so much. And we really hope I and Sheena and all of the Hakbang team would like to see you on board up again here. Maybe 1 hour is not too not enough, but I think on a serious something on 1 month mode we can invite you here so that we can really put that action, those trainings. Yes, we may be talking these things, you may be hearing this, but iba pa rin yung meron tayong closed session so that you get to have the activity, the topics, you put it on application and then you realize that it's really a helpful thing. So, Coach, thank you so much, and we would like to see you again. And thank you so much, Sheena. Any words for Coach?
No, just thank you, and I hope we can continue this conversation another time, Coach.
Ako rin, I would like to say thank you, Jerome and Sheena, and everyone behind Hackbang, Sir Owen, and all of you guys. I love you all so much, and I'm always glad to really do my best to give value. Ano yung pwede matulong ko sa inyo, I'm always open up for that one. And again, tama, it's really short. I'm used to speak 6 to 7 hours straight with lectures and everything, but that's why I'm just gonna give as much value as I can. So I hope those who listen learned a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I think this 1 hour session we were talking with you. I think now I feel like I'm more uplifted and I'm happier.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rub my
You just need to hold this. Thank you so much, Coach.
I have to explain that more. That's just an example. It's not. There's a
So
process.
abangan nyo ang sekreto nito. All right, so Coach, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Bye for now. Just stay at the backstage. Thank you so much. So Sheen, there you go. We were able to manage again one COVID conversation over coffee, which is really worth it. I'm so hyped. I don't have sleep yet from my work, but it really feels great. No, this is really something that we might really need to face because it's COVID. We might need to face our emotion and manage that. And with that, we would like to, of course, thank to all of our viewers who's watching right now. Omar Malayo, we have Kim, Siran Jiva Shiraji who's watching, Arlan Velasquez, thank you so much. Elaine Marisol Garces Bayucot, thank you so much. Of course, the one who's watching on my watch party, Pael Dahao, my mother is watching. Kenneth Reyes, thank you so much. Noel Tanza, thank you so much. Rosalind Ignacio de Catoria, thank you. Leslie Martan, Jessa Mimiwaga, Fame Timiones, Ruel Maneja, Glenn Albarazin, Lais Flores, my sister Jenim is watching, BJ Simogan, Prinsky, Jeric Romero, Prinsky, Sofia Saldinan, Narvasa. Thank you so much. Do you have your friends with you watching your watch party?
Sorry, I don't have that much friends watching. I'm not that famous, so. Thank you to Jonathan, my friend. Thank you. You're always such a fan. And Crystal, if you're still watching, hello, and hi, Tita Letty.
Thank you so much. And of course, you guys, if you wanted to get in touch with us, feel free to visit our website. It's www.hack-bang.com. And you can also view some of our videos at Hackbang TV on YouTube. You can also get in touch with us to all of the necessary updates, upcoming events Hackbang is doing on our Facebook and Instagram. That's Hackbang. Thank you so much for spending your 1 hour and 15 minutes with us. And of course, we will not be taking much of your time. Once again, this has been Jerome streaming live all the way from Davao City.
And Sheena streaming all the way from the UAE and Dubai. See you.
All right, this has been COVID Conversation Over Coffee, brought to you by Hackbang Media. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.